Pretty surprising news last night, at least from my perspective, when Brendan Fairbarn from Fox 44 here in Baton Rouge was out at Southern's first practice yesterday. And obviously we don't lead with Southern football a ton here, but it certainly merits that today, is Trey Holly was out at Southern's practice today. The reports from those around Baton Rouge are that Holly has enrolled at Southern and is joining the Southern football team as a walk-on to play running back. Of course, Trey Holly is Louisiana's all-time leader in high school rushing yard. Has absolutely shattered Nick Brissett's high school record up at Union Parish. Ran for 160 touchdowns, over 10,000 yards, and was a four-star back, one of the top 10 backs in the country according to Rivals, and enrolled at LSU for the 2023 season. Now, the 2023 offense at LSU was pretty good. Had a Heisman Trophy winner, had some first-round wide receiver talent, some Pro Bowl talent on the outside. They scored a lot of points. And Trey Holly didn't play a lot as a freshman. He did rip off a 60-yard touchdown run against Army, but he didn't play very much. And then I think all of you are well aware of what happened after that. There was a incident in Union Parish, a shooting. He was charged and turned himself in, subsequently arrested on 3 felony counts. And at that point, his football career very, very much in doubt. And so the trial was set to begin for Trey Holly 2 months later. They dropped the attempted murder charge against him, but he was still to stand trial for aggravated criminal damage to property and illegal use of a weapon. And that trial has been delayed multiple times, one for evidence collection, and then one this past month for a broken air conditioner in the courthouse. And Trey Holly just hasn't gotten his day in court yet. I'm really not here to litigate what happened that day. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what the attorneys have found. I don't know what we presented in a court of law. I don't know what the result of that situation will be. Certainly an incident where a young person is shot is far more significant than who's on the field on 3rd and 7. But Trey Holly's future, really his present, has been up in the air for better than a year and a half at this point. And we have heard Brian Kelly in the distant past, SEC Media Days last year in Dallas, talk about expecting Holly back with the team and expecting him to be part of the group, and then it just never happened because the justice system hasn't run its course yet. And we have not talked about Trey Holly from a football perspective on this show, really on this station, over the last 7 months because there have been no developments and nothing to suggest that he's going to return to LSU. And now that essentially reaches its conclusion as we understand that he's enrolled at Southern and is going to walk on and play there. So I'm not here again to talk about what's going to come of the legal situation or why Southern's taking him in or why he couldn't be on LSU's team. Those are questions that I don't have answers to. So I have no idea. But I do know that he's going to play for Southern at this point, and LSU is going to move on without him at this point. And so you look at LSU at running back, and again, no one was, as of 24 hours ago when this had not broken yet, no one was counting, well, you got Durham, and then Jackson's there, and then you got Harlem Berry, and you bring in JT Lindsey, and Trey Holly will probably come back. Like, that wasn't part of the discussion. But it does remove that possibility, right? So now you look at LSU and their 4 running backs, and you go, that's a thin group. It is. I'm more than okay with the talent level. I think Caden Durham is an all-SEC level tailback. I think he showed that with his strength and balance against South Carolina. I think he showed that with his home run hitting ability, both in the running game and in the pass catching game that you saw before he got hurt. I think he is an explosive player that, yes, a little bit undersized from a height perspective, but he's strong, he's fast, he's a home run hitter. I like Caden Durham's talent. I've liked him since I watched him at Duncanville. Like, that dude has some real skills. I'm not ready to completely give up on Caleb Jackson. They are completely different. We have seen some highlights from Caleb Jackson, but if you look at the highlights of Caleb Jackson, they are him using his speed to get to the edge, his power to run over people, a long kickoff return here, a big run from scrimmage there. You rarely see Caleb Jackson in his college career take a handoff, put his foot in the ground, cut it back, make a linebacker miss, or run over a linebacker and create a big play. he is big, strong, fast in spades. He has not shown the ability to use his vision to be an effective every down runner in the SEC. So he hasn't unlocked that potential yet, and you really didn't see a lot of him on the field last year. You saw Caden Durham, you saw Josh Williams. Like, that was essentially what you went with last year. And now you bring in a couple of freshmen. Harlem Berry was here in the spring. JT Lindsey arrived in the fall. And Berry is number one back in the country. And when you hear evaluators talk about Harlem Berry, you hear them mention the name Reggie Bush, and you hear number one running back in the country, and you hear five-star, and then you start to think about Leonard Fournette and what he did, and Darius Geis and what he did, and how they were so quick to the field and so quick to produce, and you go, that guy, boom, that guy can absolutely play. And he may well can. I don't know. I mean, I saw in the spring him catch a pass out in the flat and make like 6 guys miss, because he is incredibly elusive, has dynamic vision, speed, balance, the whole deal. He's not ideal SEC size for a running back. That's not debatable. He is thin. He is slender at this point in his career. So hypothetically, and this is we're having a depth exercise here, okay? Hypothetically, if Durham had to miss 3 weeks, high ankle sprain, can't go. Like, you good with just Caleb Jackson, Harlem Berry, and JT Lindsey, who hasn't had a practice yet? Like, that's a thin group. When you look at some of the best LSU backfields, they were incredibly deep. They had 4 or 5 guys you could go to. I mean, the best example is the 2011 group that started the year basically with Spencer Ware, and you had Alfred Blue, and you had Michael Ford, and you had Kenny Hilliard. Like, you could just go and go and go and go. Terrence McGee was on the back end of that. They didn't really play him a lot, but you had 4 guys that really got time. Ware would hammer away at him early in the game. Ford would take the ball to the edge when a tired defense didn't want to deal with that. Blue was a big physical back that played in the NFL that could hammer you away. And then about midway through the season, it was the Tennessee game of that year. Kenny Hilliard emerged, and he was kind of your best back down the stretch. He was your lead back against Arkansas in the season finale, your lead back against Georgia in the SEC championship game. Like, that's the model. But Jacob Hester played with Chiron Carey and Joseph Adai and Justin Vincent, and like, he played with a lot of backs, and they rotated guys through. Ali Broussard in that era that was there with Justin Vincent, and you go through Charles Scott and Caleb Williams, and that group was awesome. Stephen Ridley followed, and you generally had like 3 or 4 guys in a backfield that were not true freshmen and were kind of ready to play. And this group doesn't really have that. So, like, to me, Holly would have just been a depth piece to add into that, and now he would be a junior. And I think there was a point in time there through his sophomore year where he wasn't at LSU where the thought was, like, he'll eventually come back. Again, this is not a legal discussion. I don't know what happened, but I'm talking football. And that possibility is gone now. So you look at LSU's running back, and you are one Caden Durham ding away from looking at that group going, this is really thin. And I probably should have brought this up prior to Trey Holly enrolling at Southern and starting his football practice, but it crystallized it for sure. Because I also would not have been completely stunned if I would have stumbled upon news yesterday that said Trey Holly has seen his day in court. He's been proven not guilty. He's enrolling in school in the fall, and he's going to join LSU. And right now, like, I think if he did, he'd be really rusty, and he hadn't played in a year and a half, and that's just all kind of stuff you'd have to deal with. But that would have certainly been a nice boost to the running back depth chart, and now that's an impossibility. So I'm good with Caden Durham. I'm not done with Caleb Jackson, and I think Harlem Berry, you get him the ball in the screen game, you get him the ball out of the backfield on third down so he knows where he's supposed to be. Like, yeah, that's a guy that is a quality third back. But he needs to stay the third back. He becomes a second back, all of a sudden, you're just too light on numbers. So, Trey Holly, enrolling at Southern, we'll see what comes of his trial. We'll see what comes of his year at Southern, and we'll see what comes of his football future. But for LSU right now, pushing off the dock, we're 1 week and a day away from fall camp starting. You're light at tailback. Like, that is a truth. And hopefully they've got an ability to stay healthy at that position. If they do, they'll be fine. If they don't, it could get a little bit dicey there for LSU. at the running back spot. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.